Good morning, day 24 of Fearless Living Boot Camp. And wow, the things that I've seen. So yesterday, I made my video about the new moon, and while I was making that video, there was a lot of good information that was coming through, and I think I was pretty clear. I need to go back and look at the video. I think I was pretty clear while I was delivering the messages, but really what was happening while I was delivering the messages is there was a lot of information that was coming down. A lot of awareness. I was really, really expanded and open in my mind and in my heart. So right after I finished making that video, I stood up and I pretty much collapsed from pain. And I'm going to tell you about that. But first, I want to tell you what led up to the awakenings and yesterday's video and today's video and what happened yesterday. Because it was really intense, really powerful. I've never experienced anything like that before. So the last few days, I've been very aware of my suppressed feelings. Now, this has been going on for a couple of weeks, but really keenly aware of my suppressed feelings, my suppressed emotions over these last couple of days. And with the new moon coming up, I thought this is an excellent opportunity to release negative feelings that are holding me back. And so I've gone on this journey of writing down, really, really documenting my feelings and then engaging my feelings and then tuning into my spirit and spirit guides to ask for a deep understanding of where the feelings are coming from. So the last few days have really been about looking at my shadow, looking at my dark side, and understanding where it came from, blessing it, appreciating it, and looking at how to integrate it. Not so much releasing it, because our dark side is not to be released as much as it is to be integrated. The thing that we want to release are the negative behaviors and the negative thought patterns that have cropped up and surfaced as a result of our dark side or our shadow energy. So, for example, if I say that I'm an envious person, a lot of people want to deny that they're envious, and they say, "Oh no, I'm not envious. I care about people. I only want the best for people." And then when they see that, okay, I do have some envious tendencies, what they want to do is say, "I don't want to be envious anymore." And then what they want to do is deny that part of them exists. Well, in denying that something that is a part of you exists, it's almost like denying the whole part of you. You cannot be a whole person if you are in denial about any aspect of yourself. So what I am doing is learning how to see the dark sides of myself and accept them, embrace them, and appreciate them, and allow them to be. Now, just because you appreciate and allow them to be, it doesn't mean that you're going to let them consume you, nor does it mean that they're going to act out more often in your life. As a matter of fact, the more you acknowledge those aspects of yourself, the less likely they are to crop up and act out in a covert way that's beyond your control or that's out of alignment with who you think you are. Because who you think you are, when you're whole, is a whole person with both dark and light aspects. So the integration of the shadow is really a beneficial way to spend your time, and it's a part of being fearless. Being fearless, you have to take a fearless inventory of who you are, which means you can't go into the dark parts of yourself with fear. Well, yesterday after I did the video, I had this terrible pain that came up through my gut. My intestines just flared. Actually, it wasn't even just my intestines. It felt like all of my organs and my abdominals were on fire, and they were twisting, and it was absolutely unfathomable pain. I had diarrhea, I had nausea, I had vomiting, and it just was going on for about, actually, it started, and after about 15 to 20 minutes into it, I started tuning into myself. Luckily, blessedly, I was able to tune into my spiritual self, and ego was frightened. I was frightened, right? But I knew that there was something, a reason why this was happening. So I just had this major surgery, right? And so when my guts start churning, it's scary, it feels like, oh my God, has something gone wrong with the surgery? Do I have some kind of weird infection? All sorts of crazy stuff goes on in the mind. So what I did was I really took control of my mind, and I started telling a new story. I was going to make this pain be my servant. I was going to be the master. I was going to allow the pain. I wasn't going to deny the pain like, oh no, this isn't happening. Instead, I was going to dance with this pain and co-create a new experience. And what I started doing was observing where the pain was happening in my body. And it started going from left to right, down, and down left to right at the bottom, left to right at the top, and then in the center of my abdomen. It was this kind of weird pattern that was forming. And wherever the pain was at the lower left side, I'd ask, what is it that you want to tell me? And I'd get this mess of information, like a lot of stuff I couldn't process. It was so much stuff. Then when it go over to the right at the bottom, what are you trying to tell me? And I'd get again this download of information, like just a whole bunch of memories and ideas and feelings and just stuff. When it came up to the left side, I kept getting these images of women, just women. And when it came over to the right, I started getting this feeling of fire and anger and heat. And then when it came to the center, when the pain came to the center, I started getting these feelings of, or these images of, messages of your will, your divine will, your connection to your divine will is broken. And I kept getting these images of sunflowers that are opening but disappearing, like they're blossoming and then disappearing. So I started engaging all the pain, and I started getting these very, very clear messages about what each pain represented. It started getting clearer and clearer. And what I did was, instead of running away from the pain, I wouldn't take my pain medication. I just sat there with it, and I just kept praying, and I kept saying yes, because I am the co-creator of my experience, and I'm not denying anything in my experience again. So as the pain came up, I kept saying, yes, tell me more, tell me more. I know that there's something broken inside of me. That's why I'm having the pain. I choose to know what's broken inside of me, and I want to be there with it full on in my full consciousness. And let me tell you something, my body and my spirit delivered. I sat here it started at about 6:30, and I sat here until 2 o'clock in the afternoon. It started at 6:30 in the morning, and I sat here until 2 o'clock in the afternoon, fully present with every single emotion, confronting every single fear, feeling every single feeling. And my whole body told the story of my entire life and all the emotions that have been stored in my body came and sat there, and I sat there with them, feeling them, acknowledging them, in full ownership of them. I went on journeys even into past lives. I learned why my soul came here and why I'm experiencing life in the way I experience them, why my parents are who they are. I saw my connection with God. I saw my connection with Goddess. I just saw it all. And I've never cried so many tears. I mean, there were so many tears that were cried. After 3 hours, I'm like, how is there even any water left in my body to even have these tears, you know? All the while, I was in severe pain, you know, like in my gut, just pain. And instead of running from it, I just kept in there with it, you know, engaging it. And the pain stopped being painful as much as it started being insightful, you know, as much as it started being a partner with me. It was almost, what I saw was that every single pain is an expression of spirit drawing us into a spiritual dialogue, spiritual engagement about who we are and what it is our souls are desiring. Powerful stuff, man. Powerful. I was in the deepest throes. I was not in this world. I was in this world, but I was not in this world. I was like so connected to everything. There were times when I just, like, my mind just totally shut down. And I felt like I was suspended. You know, there was pain, and I was in the pain, and I was in this room, and I could feel all of the earth in my body. I felt the whole earth in my body. It was awesome. I invite more experiences like this because that's where my clearing and the clearing that I desire, the purity of my life that I desire, the purification of my existence lies in the surrendering to the moment. And the thing is, I'm trained for this. This is what I do. This is what I've been doing. The average person that experiences something like that is not going to feel comfortable with it if they've not had the proper training, if they've not had the support, if they don't know what's going on. It's scary, you know? And I think one of the things that I came here to do, part of my life's purpose, is to help facilitate this type of transformation. And when I was engaging with this morning, you know, I was like, wow, this is really powerful. And what a wonderful calling to be able to take someone on this journey and to be there with them, holding their hand, and to basically support them while they go through this, to be a midwife. I was in labor yesterday as I was giving birth to my fear. I was giving birth to the darkest parts of myself. I was giving birth to pain. I was giving birth to my fear. It was so powerful, and it was so liberating. I feel this morning so light, so clear. I feel so alive and so connected, you know? My abdominals are sore. There was a lot of retching and release yesterday, you know? It was big, man. So, anyway, I'm awakening to myself, you know? awakening to myself at day 24 of Fearless Living Boot Camp. I'm waking up. So today's affirmation is about fear. And it reads, "Fear is my opportunity to explore where my beliefs may be out of sync with my desires. Fear is the tool of my higher consciousness to help me deepen my experience as a human being living in this moment. I get to challenge the fear that I am experiencing and blossom into my greatest potential." You know, this is so apt. It's so apt that I didn't get this affirmation yesterday. I get it today when I'm able to process what happened yesterday. I really went deeply into my fear and my loathing, my self-loathing, and my disconnection from source energy. And I really did sit there fearlessly. It wasn't that I was fearless. It's that I did it anyway. I was courageous. I challenged my fear. I challenged my self-loathing. I challenged all those dark aspects of myself. And I really did feel myself blossoming into my greatest potential. In that moment, I was raw, open, and I was so true to myself. I was in my authentic self. And it felt amazing. Was it scary? For a while it was scary, but after I allowed myself to surrender to it, and I finally just said, you know what, I trust this process. If I'm gonna die, I'm gonna die. I don't think I'm gonna die from it. I don't feel like I'm dying. What I feel like's happening is I feel like my ego is dying. Not dying for good, because I'm not trying to murder my ego, but I felt like that part of me that was holding on and trying to control life, I felt like that was dying. And that felt like a good death. It felt like a good death. It felt like by letting that need to control die, I felt like I was able to surrender, and that's what I did. And man, it was so powerful. Oh my God, the depth of emotion that I have it's fucking beautiful. I think it's beautiful. I think that our depth of emotion is our greatest power. It's what makes us human and what makes us connected, you know? Like, it goes along with the mind. If you can't, cutting off the mind from the heart, oh, such a denial of the full human experience. Anyway, going back into the affirmation. Every moment of resistance is an opportunity to challenge my shadow. Every self-doubt is an opportunity to heal a part of me that is broken. I push into fear. I push into anxiety. I push forward, allowing my apprehension, even my dread, even my pain. But I push. And as I do, I surrender and release. I release the pain and the sadness, and I allow them to pass through me to the universe to be transmuted to something graceful, useful, and karma cleansing. Yesterday, I realized, I've been realizing, but yesterday I got to see it in action. There was a period when I was not allowing my energy, those sad feelings, those dark feelings, to move through me. By denying them, I was actually storing them. So when we deny something, we're actually storing it in our body, because we are flowing entities. We are energetics that flow. And when we deny something, it means we're cutting off the flow. And that cutting off gets lodged in our body. It's meant to be released. It's meant to be recycled and regenerated and transmuted. So when we deny ourselves, when we deny any aspect of ourselves, even the darkest shit, when we deny that exists within us, then we are cutting ourselves off. We're blocking our systems. We're blocking our meridians. We're blocking our chakras. We're blocking our aura. And we're creating discordant energy within ourself and discordant energy within the whole matrix, within the whole divine matrix. When we allow ourselves to flow freely, energetically, powerfully, truthfully, honestly, authentically, then we are the universe is going to mirror that. As we allow ourselves to be true, then we allow others to be true. When we are able to be true, that discordant energy doesn't crop up, and we're able to actually not become a victim of our shadow, but to be in partnership with our shadow and in alignment with our higher selves. Our higher self is all about being whole, not being half. Oh, I'm only the good parts. No, that's not being fully authentic. That's not being the full you. Being your God self is about being your whole self, not denying any aspect of yourself. This is so, so, so powerful. These are the steps for self-love. This is how you love yourself. You embrace who you are, and you own who you are. And I remember in The Dark Side of the Light Chasers, The Dark Side of the Light Chasers, Debbie Ford's book, she talks about how she embraces herself as a bitch. I think I mentioned this before. And how once she owned being a bitch, she really stopped being a bitch because she was in acceptance of herself and she wasn't as angry. You know? It's like when I stopped denying, my own self-loathing, and I say, hey, I'm somebody who has loathed herself. I was a kid who loathed herself. And if I say to myself right now, I'm a woman who loathes myself, I think, wow, I love myself enough to loathe myself. And what it feels like intellectually, it may not make sense, but what it feels like for me, I feel my heart my heart feels like it has sunshine around it. And it feels like freedom. And what that feels like is actually unconditional love. I know it probably sounds weird. It's something that you have to experience in order to know. But in order to experience that type of purity, that unconditional love, you got to be willing to love yourself unconditionally. Not deny yourself, but love yourself unconditionally. How are you going to do that when you're denying an aspect of yourself, All right, finishing up this affirmation. I come out on the other side, empowered, emboldened, and having witnessed my own redemption. I experience vitality. I welcome these opportunities to see love and this world in a new light, and I appreciate what I see. I am full of love. Absolutely. That's what I feel today. And I said, I can't wait to go back into the next experience of this. Now, I prayed and I asked Spirit because I didn't like the way, so when I was having the experience yesterday, it was really, really painful. And I've just gone through the surgery, and I don't think that's fair for my body to put it through so much at one time. So what I've decided is that I'm going to wait a few weeks before I go that deeply into the stored energy in my body. Now, what I am going to do is go deeply in my shadow work using my mind, and I'm going to be feeling my feelings, but I'm going to be very, very, very gentle with my body. And I've asked for spiritual support, and I'm feeling it. I feel a lot of love and nurturing coming through my body. Today I couldn't eat yesterday at all. I couldn't even drink. I could barely drink water. I couldn't keep it down. But today I'm going to do juices. I'm going to go to Rainbow Juices. If you don't know Rainbow Juices, I think it's on 3rd Street. It's in downtown Long Beach. You can look them up online, rainbowjuices.com. They are just awesome fresh, raw, cold-pressed juices, like really, really, really vital. I think that that's what I'm going to use today to bring, to really kind of bring my system back into balance. And for the next week, I'm going to just be really cognizant and aware of how my body is responding to my feelings and what I'm putting into it. I'm only going to put in really high vibrational things, and I'm going to slow down and take my time and just listen to myself. So I'm really excited about the new moon ceremony that we're having on Monday. If you can join me for that, it'll be great. I think this is all kind of leading up to what's going on in the new moon and what I'm calling in for myself. I'm saying yes to the universe. I'm saying yes to my dreams, yes to my goals, my desires. And I feel that all this process, all these tears, all that, all the shitting. Whoa, my system is clean. All this process is really about bringing me closer to my desires and owning myself and trusting the universe. So that's where I am. All right. So, and I want to mention also that I was thinking about the juices yesterday. My housemate made some. I said I'd like some carrot ginger juice, and she says, "Okay. How spicy do you like it?" And I said, kind of spicy. She made the yummiest juice, and it was more ginger than it was carrot, and it was awesome. And that's when my stomach started feeling really, really, really good. Like, it's like that ginger got in there and warmed my stomach, and it started soothing it immediately. And my other housemate made me some nettle tea, and that went right to my liver. And my liver calmed down so quickly. So I'm just feeling really aligned with nature's medicine, food, and wanting to, I'm going to take it really slow, but I'm going to definitely nurture myself with all the best that nature has to offer. All right, friends, so I'm signing off, and I hope to see you Monday, October 12th, for the new moon ceremony. If you can make it, great. If not, there'll be other opportunities to co-create healing and whatever else we're going to do. Heal. Connection. All right, so bye for now, friends.